Hello, everybody, and welcome to Culture of Gaming's Power Up Podcast, Episode 3. I'm your host, Taylor, and this week I'm joined by Anthony.
Hey everyone, nice to be here again. It's been a bit of a busy week this week, and yeah, looking forward to doing another podcast.
Andrew.
Hi, we're podcasting.
Yes, and a newcomer to Power Up, Haseeb.
No, I'm just not a newcomer. Not only a newcomer, but I'm a newcomer to the podcast. It's my very first ever podcast, so I'm excited to be here.
Okay,
Cool.
And what do you do at Culture of Gaming?
I write.
Okay, all right.
Sometimes fix up the site.
Awesome. And then I'm sure longtime viewers of the podcast know what Andrew and Anthony do. Anthony is basically owner of the site and is in charge of everything, and Andrew writes for the site as well as makes videos, and I pretty much just make videos and do this and help out wherever possible. So yeah, that is our jobs over at Culture of Gaming. We have a pretty solid lineup of topics for you guys today, so let's get started into the very first one. This is something that's really near and dear to my heart, and that is how cryptocurrency is affecting the PC hardware market.
Badly, poorly.
Yeah, very poorly. So maybe certain, I'm not going to name drop on the podcast, but certain tech tubers have started a minor feud with each other over this stuff. There was one that came out and said, you know, even though I'm sitting on like piles of graphics cards for the office and whatnot, I'm not going to use them to mine. Another one was like, dude, what are you doing? You know, use them to mine. What's wrong with you? So yeah, there's like a minor feud going on. My opinion is that cryptocurrency is quite the interesting topic and thing that's happening. It certainly is. I'm personally not into it because it doesn't follow a whole lot of rules of economics, and I mean, it's a roller coaster. The market is an absolute roller coaster, and the worst part about it to me is that it creates a horrible barrier to entry in terms of price with into the PC gaming hardware market nowadays. So that's an issue. What are your guys' thoughts on this, Andrew?
As someone who's trying to build a PC soon, I can't find anything higher than like a 1050 Ti.
Yeah.
And like I'm not trying to build like a powerhouse or anything, but it's nice to like, you know, future-proof stuff. So yeah, it's kind of bothersome to like, you know, look at these prices and stuff. And if that recent drop in Bitcoin obviously being the biggest cryptocurrency, like if the big, you know, that dropped like a bunch over the like last weekend or something like that. Huge downfall. So I don't know if that's gonna change people from buying up all these graphics cards or what, but I'm just kind of sitting waiting. I guess, you know, I have time to wait, so I'm just kind of hanging out waiting. And I don't understand cryptocurrency at all.
Okay.
It's like fake money to me. So
yeah,
that's fair enough. Yeah,
I don't know.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Anthony, you recently built a PC and you were mildly affected by
Yeah, well, basically to get a brand new 1050 here, it's around $1,000 to get one. So they're very, very, very expensive here.
That's a
my
1050?
graphics card, yeah.
Jeez. Wow.
My brother just bought one actually, and he had to save up for a bit, and he's like working full time, and they're just very hard to get your hands on for a cheap price. So basically here we've either got to buy them secondhand off someone. I just bought a gaming PC and my graphics cards just died, so I've got to get a new graphics card, so that's going to set me back a little bit. And yeah, like here over, as you said, Andrew, over the past weekend, it was Bitcoin was 19,000 and now it's 13.9 something.
Wow.
So it's dropped a lot, and it's affecting PC parts like crazy.
Okay. And Haseeb, what are your thoughts on this?
I don't have a lot of experience with cryptocurrency. I didn't really get into it. But looking at the trends, I do strongly believe that it's a fad.
Yeah.
Gonna drop down like in the future, maybe give it a half a year or maybe a whole year, and then after that it's gonna fade out of existence. We were talking right before this podcast about Korea looking to ban this stuff, and they may or may not. I just still think it's just gonna phase out slowly. So just gotta live with it for a while, I guess.
Yeah, that's potentially the like best term I've ever heard used to describe it, the present state of it right now, is a fad. So thank you for that. But so as I reiterated before, is like I'm not personally into it. Although I could easily be like I could click a few buttons, undervolt my graphics card, and have it working while I'm asleep and at class and whatnot, and not gaming on it, just so it doesn't put as much strain on my graphics card. You know, I could probably make maybe $10 to $12 a day, even when factoring in electricity with it. So I mean, yeah, depending on what coin to mine and everything. And I mean, we all know Bitcoin and everything, but I mean, there's also Litecoin, I think, is still around. Ethereum is becoming more and more popular.
Ripple is another one.
Yeah, there's Dogecoin, which was around for a while, which is my favorite. But the things that most of these have in common is that a lot of them are traded for Bitcoin also. So if there was ever to be a standard cryptocurrency, it would just be Bitcoin. And so let's talk about solutions to the problem a little bit, or kind of get into this sort of thing. A couple of these national banks, and I forget the exact name, so let's just go with, say, Merrill Lynch, for example, has admitted to investing in what could be known as like crypto farm computer rigs to make some money off of it, which, I mean, realistically, for a larger bank like that and everything, I mean, that's not a lot of money, even if it ends up at an overall loss, because it turns out to be a fad, which, I mean, all the cryptos are going up and down. It's not just Bitcoin. But some of these tech tubers I've seen suggest, you know, maybe it's time for the graphics card manufacturers to start making new fobs for manufacturing graphics cards. And the problem right off the bat I have with that is, I mean, a fob is a lot of money and a lot of time of an investment, and there's no guarantee that the demand for it will stay where it's at. So especially if it does turn out to be a fad. So that's not really that's not a viable solution. I guarantee you no economist that works for a graphics card company is going to say, yeah, let's just totally build a brand new fob just to keep up with the cryptocurrency market. I don't think so. And then we also want to get into the government action against it. Honestly, all it's going to take is a high-profile money laundering case using cryptocurrency, and then it's out. Honestly.
Yeah, well, I mean, I want to see it gone. I like a couple of people that I know have invested in it. Have invested in Ripple, and I think there was another one that was Dog something or other. I don't know what it was called.
Yeah.
Really weird name. They invested in that. But the people who invested in Ripple, they lost, like, I think they invested, like, it wasn't much. It was $40 or something, and they lost the whole lot within 2 days. It just dropped. It's very unpredictable, and I reckon that the whole thing is that, oh, you know, Bitcoin's going to be the one world money and all of that, the conspiracy theory that's going around. But the more it goes, the better the economy will get, and the better parts will get, and all of that. So yeah, get rid of it, in my opinion.
Okay.
Andrew, rant there.
Andrew, are you as extreme as just get rid of it, or?
I mean, there's something to be said about having like a untraceable money source. People want this thing that's to buy stuff that's illegal or whatever, and I don't think it's going to go away just because of that reason. There's just too many weird stuff that people want to buy or have untraceable amounts of money. So I think it'll be around. I mean, hopefully it kind of takes a back seat. Obviously, that'd be much nicer for, you know, the gaming side of it. But you know, it's not bothering me personally, so I'm just kind of like, besides the whole like me having to wait.
Okay.
And that's like, you know, that's like last on my problems right now. You know.
Yeah. And then Haseeb, are you as extreme as get rid of it, or?
Me much. I haven't really gotten into it. I know some friends that have invested in it, and some of them have seen really good returns, and some of them have gotten huge losses. So it's very much like a seesaw. It keeps going back and forth, even day per day. And even if you look at it hour per hour, the rates are always going up and down. And so it's unpredictable, unstable. I don't really need in any economy. So I guess if it would go away, then that'd be better.
Okay. You see, I'm maybe, as much as I just expressed kind of like dislike for it, or how much I do buy into the opinion that it might be a fad also, is I don't think it'll, like, I don't think it should go away entirely. I definitely think once more and more people get into it, which it is starting to hit casual people now quite a bit. Like, I overhear a bunch of conversations at university from people I would not expect talking about this thing, talking about it. So, I mean, it's definitely getting more and more. And I think once more and more people get into it, things will settle down, actually. I think it'll start behaving like a normal virtual currency. But then, again, the point is brought up. It's like, it's almost untraceable. It can be made close to untraceable. And yeah, we're all just waiting for, I guess, a money laundering suit for it. Yeah, because, I mean, it is the ultimate money laundering device. It really is.
I mean, it's either that someone gets caught and this whole thing is shut down, or governments are going to step in and start putting taxes and stuff on top of this stuff. And so I think you're right. I think eventually it's going to calm down for sure. I think nobody can really say for sure.
Yeah. It's definitely very volatile times right now. I was lucky enough to build a PC a number of years ago, coming up on 6 years now. So it was just the closest thing I'm looking to being affected by it is when I ever upgrade my GPU, my graphics card, getting affected by that. But I'm pretty decided that by this point I would probably just pre-order directly from the manufacturer before release for the next generation graphics card to upgrade to, just to dodge that whole the price inflation. Yeah. So that's my way around it. And, you know, if you are trying to get into the PC gaming space and everything, I do really feel for you guys. I honestly do. It sucks being priced out of something, and I think it's hurting gaming as a whole type thing.
Particularly if you buy a second-hand rig, and then you need to, like, my motherboard's pretty old as well, and if I want to jump into a 1050, I might then have to upgrade my motherboard. So you buy something that's second-hand that's a little bit old, that's within your budget, you don't really know what you're getting into because it could be garbage, or like I looked at mine and it was clean and it all worked and everything, but apparently not.
Yeah. And I mean, also, when you go to buy secondhand parts, okay, so scientifically speaking, the use of a PC card or component or something doesn't necessarily decrease the performance of it, but having enough power run through it for its duration of time will decrease the life of it before it just kind of the hardware starts to eventually fail. So if you were to say, it's like, say in a year now, you were looking for on like Craigslist or something or eBay a used graphics card to put in your rig or something, and it's like the guy on eBay can say, oh, it was not used for mining, even though it might have been type thing, because it being used for mining can be a really not a great selling point for people, because that means the card was operating at full voltage, unless they were smart enough to undervolt it, at full voltage for extended durations of time, which, I mean, you can put in an 8-hour, like, gaming session on, say, a really graphically demanding game that'll stress your card out a little bit, but it's not going to hurt it in the long run. But it being run for, like, 18 hours, somewhat on end, is really going to hurt it. So that's definitely another thing to consider, and we might start seeing that sort of thing in a year or so. Yeah, and so who do you think will be the first country to ban it?
China.
China? Okay.
China. China or South Korea.
Okay. I can definitely see it hitting. Or Haseeb, what do you think? First country.
I think China as well, because it's most commonly used there, I think.
Okay.
From what I've seen, like regular people are using it in regular markets, like through their phones. I think the app is called WeChat.
Yeah,
you can like send crypto straight through from there. So
okay.
If a government is going to take action, it's going to be China's.
Okay. So I'm in pretty much agreement it'd be China. The case can also be made for South Korea pretty well too. Although I think this sort of thing can affect the Chinese population just based on various trends over the years a lot harder than it could affect, say, the U.S. population or say Korea's potentially. So yeah, that's thoughts on that. Any other thoughts about this sort of thing?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I think we covered it.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot more to be said, honestly, besides if you're into it, you know, that's great and all. You do you. Just don't try and sell your graphics card on eBay and say it was never used for mining. Like, at
Don't
least
gamble a lot of money on it as well.
yeah, exactly. It's like I would chill. I mean, you were lucky if you bought into Bitcoin when it was cheap, and then a few weeks ago when it was way, way up and everything on its record high and sold it off then, you were lucky, but you may or may not get that lucky again. So, anyway, so a much lighter topic is up next. The HTC Vive Pro. So, hardware-wise, it's not specifically too different from the current HTC Vive, which is virtual reality headset for those not in the know, where it still has two 1200p 90 hertz screen. But the big selling point is a bit better tracking technology and zero latency wireless tech. And there hasn't been any solid price announced, and I was at CES last week, which is why there was no podcast last week, and no one was demoing the HTC Vive Pro, which I thought was kind of interesting. So, not sure what's going on there, but I would say the pricing to be maybe $200 or $300 more than the Vive, which recently did receive a price drop. So it would be about the same price as a Vive upon initial release, is what all the speculation is leading people to believe. And so, do we think the features of the Vive Pro would be worth it over a Vive?
I mean, like, wireless is pretty big, right? Like, wires kind of hold everything back almost, right, for virtual reality, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really looked into getting one or looked into the differences, but I've always wanted to try VR. Never tried it before.
Okay.
Haven't been to a gaming event that's had one really to use. So do you have any of the main differences on hand at all, or that we can have a chat about?
There
or
are
not
no
really?
main differences besides outside
No
of
main differences.
Yeah, outside of
outside
maybe
of wireless.
some better tracking in general, like better tracking tech, but the screens are the same. So that's the big thing. It's like the screens are the same. Overall, the headset is the same. It's just pretty much wireless. So yeah. So more or less comes down to, is wireless worth like an extra $200?
It might be. I don't know. I've messed around with the Vive before. I don't have one. At, like, some events, and those wires, you can feel it. So, like, stepping over each wire is kind of a pain. It's kind of a pain, and just having to not deal with that, kind of free movement, I think would really open up, like, actually being, the experience isn't broken then when you're not having to step over the wires.
Yeah, true. I don't know about $200 difference though. I mean, that's probably $280 here. So quite a big difference. So I don't know. Probably not.
Depends how good the wireless tracking is. If it's, like, spot on, then maybe. But
Haseeb?
Yeah, true.
Haseeb, what are your thoughts?
Personally, I think for sure the wireless is worth it. I've tried it. I've tried the HTC Vive, and I've also tried PSVR. And the wires, they're very big, and they are very long, but still not long enough. The immersion.
Okay.
And it's definitely interesting to see the progression. Like, do we call the Pro like a second generation or not, or is it just like a incremental step? Interesting to see what they're coming up with.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a lot of rumors before the Pro got announced would say that it's like, it would have 2K or it would have two 4K 90 hertz screens, which, I mean, as soon as I heard those, my immediate reaction was, so what exactly do we need to have to drive that? I mean, what's out there that could possibly drive that sort of thing, I mean, we're just now barely breaking, like, in 2018, we'll just barely break into the 4K 144 hertz, like, market, so to speak, let alone two 4K screens at 90 hertz. I mean, that's pretty absurd. So, and so, that's pretty much it. So the Pro, I don't even think qualifies as a generational upgrade, honestly. I think it's more of just an improvement.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Xbox 360 and the Xbox 360 Slim kind of thing. Yeah. And so I have a ton of experience with VR, although I don't own one. I've been to a ton of events and everything that have
a Vive. And actually, at CES last week, I got to try a PS4 VR because I was thinking about picking one up, mostly for Ace Combat 7 coming out later this year, which I'm super excited for. But I did not have a very good experience with the PSVR at all.
Yeah?
It was
Okay.
yeah.
It's not great.
Yeah.
Not great?
No.
I played a little bit of Skyrim VR a bit back, and yeah,
Okay.
not only is everything very blurry, but it's just not. It doesn't work very well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Close to the Vive for sure.
Yeah. The Vive definitely provided the better experience. And I mean, whenever I try the Vive, I do occasionally trip on wires too, unless I have like one of my buddies like holding the wires and giving me slack as needed and whatnot. But I mean, for the guy that lives alone and wants to play VR or something, it's pretty unreasonable to think he can always have a buddy come over or something and hold wires while he plays VR. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's like a guy who I think it was last month. This guy was, I think he was using a Vive.
Mhm.
He tripped through a glass table,
Oh no.
and yeah, he ended up dying, unfortunately.
Oh.
So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it seems like a bit of a hazard having wires draping across the floor and then tripping over them. So
the solution is just to hire somebody to follow you around while you play
Yeah.
Vive the entire time.
Yeah.
I'll be sending my applications out, and we'll be getting this go.
exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I
Or just pay $250 more and get wireless.
Right.
Yeah.
Although one of my, it's like 2018 is gonna be a pretty huge hardware upgrade year for me, and one of the things I was thinking about getting into would be a Vive, but
Mm.
I can't like wrap my head around the controller. I haven't played enough where I like instinctively know where everything is. So
Yeah.
I feel so bad when that poor like lady's giving me the demo and like holding my hand like, no, just press that button. I'm like,
Hey, which button?
yeah, because you can't see it, right?
Yeah, I know.
Like, I don't know what button you're talking about.
Yeah. They just
Yeah.
like forcefully guide your thumb or whatever
Yeah.
and like press it for you. Oh, that button. Got
It's
it.
weird.
Yeah.
Can you pair like third-party controllers to it?
I don't know.
I think it depends on the game.
Yeah. Okay.
Some games have like controller support, but not everything has controller support.
Okay.
Mm.
As well as, I mean, you don't really want to play VR with just a controller. It's not the best way to play, I don't think.
Elite Dangerous is pretty cool. Like
Okay.
HTC Vive with Xbox One controller or something. It's pretty fun.
Mhm.
I'll give it that. Or even like you can reach forward and everything, mouse and keyboard, Elite Dangerous if you do that with the Vive. And I've heard it's not bad at all. So there's definitely that. Speaking of virtual reality, let's talk about the latest trend in gaming. And you don't even need a VR chat to try, or a VR headset to try this out, but it is VR chat. Man, I have put.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard about this game? You seen it?
No.
Okay.
I've actually seen a little bit on it, but not really.
Haseeb, how about you? Have you seen this at all?
Yeah, I've seen a few videos online. Recently, I think it was just today, I saw that video of the guy having a seizure,
Yeah.
and everyone just stopped and tried to help him. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so the whole story is, I think this got posted on Reddit a day or so ago and made it on the front page. It was basically VR chat. There was this player who was playing VR chat, and he starts having a seizure. And because he was wearing an actual VR headset with a, I think it was a full body, because that was a recent update to VR chat. It was a full body, like movement stuff and whatnot. He started having a seizure, and like his seizure was being replicated in game. And so enough people recognized what was happening, and it's like trying to get info out of him as to how to call help and everything.
Oh,
And they're gonna help this
wow.
guy out. So that was pretty cool.
That's bonkers.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wow.
yeah. But because you don't need a VR headset to play it. I've had a ton of fun in VR chat the past week or so.
Yeah.
Man, I don't even know
I
if
didn't
it.
know you didn't need a VR headset.
Yeah, no, it works with mouse and keyboard just fine.
Oh
cool.
wow.
Yeah,
This is how Black Mirror starts. I don't like it.
is it? Is it? Oh, okay. I've never seen the show, so
Oh, Black Mirror.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
all
Black
about,
Mirror?
like, technology being terrible.
okay,
Yeah.
If you want a real downer, go ahead and watch some of that.
okay.
Okay.
The season 4 episode 1 is like all about like virtual reality gaming and it's weird. Just go if you want to watch. It's like a Twilight Zone but way darker, and yeah, technology is gonna suck apparently.
Okay.
Alright.
I mean, have enough of us seen Sword Art Online?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Andrew, you
Yeah.
seen it? Haseeb?
Watched the beginning of it. Yeah.
Okay. It was like I was joking when I first saw VR chat. It's like, what is this, the beta test for Sword Art Online or something? Like,
Yeah.
because it was pretty cool how like you can pretty much have whatever avatar you want in it, and it'll receive the data. I think a lot of the tech behind VR chat for being kind of a simplistic looking Unity game is actually really cool. So yeah. So I would definitely. I think it's free too. I think VR chat is free too. So if you're looking to spend like an hour, go get it and play around. Yeah, go get it and play around. It's definitely worth it.
Is it just like you're in a chat room with random people? Because that sounds terrible.
It's wow.
It does actually.
Yeah, I don't want to see people's full bodies in VR.
They're avatars, so it's like
I don't know what they're doing with their avatars.
It's
Yeah,
nothing
true.
bad. It's nothing bad. Yeah, I think there is some degree of moderation. The avatar. Yeah, I mean
Fair enough.
it's a lot more fun than it sounds because of some of the trends that happen in the game, like Ugandan Knuckles, and yeah, it's.
So
It makes me not want to play this. I don't know if I like that.
So what do you just walk around and chat to people, or is there like
Pretty much.
objectives or
No, you just walk around and chat. That's honestly what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know it doesn't sound very appealing. I'm doing a horrible job of selling it, but I mean, especially if you go in there with like a buddy or so, it can be a ton of fun.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I'm helping for sure.
Yeah, and like you can kind of
Pair
troll
up
people.
podcast VR chat.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, we can do an episode live from VR chat. Wait, that's actually a pretty good idea.
Funny. That's
That's
not
a good
bad
idea.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what we're doing. Yeah.
Side project, let's go.
Yeah, side project. Anyway, so that's the latest in VR.
Yeah.
Nintendo Labo. This is our big topic for the day. Are we all familiar as to what Nintendo Labo is?
Oh yes.
Okay, because if you're not, then go find a cardboard box and you're pretty much there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Haseeb, have you seen Labo?
Yeah, for sure. It's been everywhere
Yeah.
the past day, and it's amazing. I'm really excited for that piano.
Okay.
People are complaining about the breaking easily.
Okay.
But I think Nintendo is releasing the designs for free, so you can cut it out yourself out of any cardboard.
That's awesome.
So
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
so I think it won't be that big of an issue.
Okay.
That would be cool.
That's really cool. I'm personally
so
most
I'm a
excited
bit
for the
naive.
camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I'm a bit
Pokemon Snap
naive.
Remake.
Oh yeah. I'm a
Yeah.
bit naive about actually what it is. So
Okay.
would you mind explaining? I haven't seen anything on it. So
Are you familiar with the Google Cardboard VR headset?
Yeah.
It's pretty much that, but with Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You're like putting the Joy-Cons into stuff. Like there was a guy with like a robot backpack and he has like punching with his arms.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bunch of other
Okay.
different designs that look bonkers.
Yeah, it all revolves around the Joy-Cons. It's basically,
Mhm.
it's kind of, they are a little bit more than just cardboard boxes. I will give them that. So it's basically, it's like props to use your Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons with. And it looks cool. And it's priced really fairly, actually, for all the stuff you're getting. I think the starting price is like 60 or 80 bucks.
Yeah.
So it's priced really fairly so far. And it's just, it is completely out there also. Like, let's be totally honest. It is very out there. And it's really one of those things where it's like, only Nintendo.
Yeah.
Only Nintendo. So.
I'm just imagining this guy in this cardboard box, not knowing what he's doing. So I'll have to go and check it out.
Okay. I guess maybe a better example would be, all right, so say you playing a sword fighting game that's Nintendo Labo compatible. You have a sword, like a cardboard sword, and I'd imagine the Joy-Con would probably be in like the handle or something. Like you would put the Joy-Con in the handle, and it's like you can swing around the sword, and it would replicate the action in game. And it's kind of like a way to take the interaction to the next level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
that makes sense.
It's like I remember back in the Wii, you used to be able to buy like these cool lightsabers for a Star Wars game or something that you could stick the Wii remote into and have like a prop for. Yeah. So that's what it's really reminding me of. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
But now
Haseeb,
now it's cardboard though, so it's much easier to get rid of when you don't want it.
right? Exactly. So Haseeb, Nintendo Labo fan. You think it's cool?
For sure, I think it's really cool. I think it utilizes the tech in the Joy-Cons really well.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the stuff that we saw at the announcement of the Switch, they showed I forget who was up on stage, but he was like shaking the Joy-Con to show like ice cubes in it, and he's playing rock paper scissors with it. And we didn't get to see a lot of that tech being utilized. Even HD Rumble,
Yeah.
1-2 switch, and that's pretty much it. But over here, everything is going full force, and it looks really, really cool.
Okay. Well, at least in the U.S. Okay, there needs to be a disclaimer there. The only time we've gotten to experience HD Rumble is with 1-2 Switch. Okay. If you go over to Japan, that's a totally different story, which kind of falls falls out of the PG rating for this podcast. So I'm not gonna go further than that.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
I don't know about it.
yeah. Yeah, so
no worries.
HD Rumble is definitely a thing that's very cool, to say the least. And so, yeah, just I don't think I've ever been more excited for a box in my life, honestly. Just because I don't know. I'll honestly, like, I'm a slave to the Switch. I will buy whatever Nintendo wants me to buy for it, honestly. Like, I remember, so it's like I was there on launch night for it. The next morning, I was picking up a Pro Controller for it. The morning after that, I was getting a screen protector for it and a travel case. Yeah. So it's like, I will buy whatever Nintendo wants me to buy for the Switch. I don't care by this point. Just give me more cool Switch stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a neat idea. I mean, I don't know if it's for me per se. Like, I don't know. I'm not a big Lego guy. I'm not a big building guy.
Okay.
I definitely don't have a lot of room around my little apartment for a bunch of cardboard pianos and shotguns and birds or whatever they have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's cool. Like, it definitely like if I had a kid or something, I'd totally pick it up for them. I'd love to dink around with it and kind of fiddle with it and see what it's all about. But
yeah.
So we'll see.
Okay.
My expectations are tempered, but it looks cool.
All
Awesome.
right. Yeah. So Anthony, just knowing how we've talked about it, are you excited for it?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Might as well get into it.
Okay.
I'm not much of I suppose I'm a bit of a hands-on person, but it sounds like a unique idea that no one's really capitalizing on. So why not give it a shot and see what it looks like? If it's only $60 or $80, then give it a go.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Haseeb, do you have a Switch or no?
Yeah, I got it on launch night.
Awesome.
At like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
in the middle of an abandoned mall, but it's really nice. And I think as far as Labo goes, I think it'll be a huge success. I work as an instructor for kids. I teach them programming and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And we also do summer camps and stuff like that. So I can definitely see a situation where like a bunch of these, and maybe schools and stuff would order these for after school programs or summer camp programs for kids.
Especially, like, I imagine the piano prop useful for, say, music education and whatnot, especially at a younger level. I mean, that'd be cool too.
Yeah,
definitely.
So
for sure.
It goes against it goes further, rather, not against, further than our gaming-centric minds think about it with, which is really cool. It honestly is. Yeah. And then, all right, so more Nintendo news. Also, I guess this falls beyond the realm of Nintendo news, but this is the Dark Souls 1 remaster. Man, you remember 2 weeks ago I was calling it how on the upcoming Direct? That was one of the things I tossed out. Yeah, I was right. Look at that.
Out of like the 800 things you tossed out.
Yeah. Although, if I recall correctly, and I mean, someone can go back and watch it and quote me on this, I think my most serious prediction was for the Dark Souls Dark Souls for the Switch. I believe I tentatively called it as Dark Souls 3 on the Switch, but I think this is close enough. Yeah. And I mean, I've bought into Dark Souls being on the Switch ever since I heard rumors around the time, I think it was around the time Nier came out, Automata came out, that there was a Dark Souls 3 port on the Switch that From had working. So every time there was a rumor about it, I would kind of believe it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm super excited for the Dark Souls 1 remaster. and it's going to be on Switch, PS4. It's going to have PS4 Pro stuff, Xbox One, Xbox One X stuff, and the PC, of course. And so with the PC, specifically speaking to you guys here, it will not need a mod to get it to work decently. So that's always a welcome thing. Yeah.
Are they doing a bunch of graphical stuff, or is it just mostly like back end?
It's going to be graphical stuff, I believe.
Okay.
I think they want to try and get it to the level Dark Souls 3 is, or
Okay.
maybe
Okay.
or maybe better than that. How it'll go on the Switch port, I'm not sure, but yeah, I think it's going to be on par with, if not quite a bit better than Dark Souls 3. But for a lot of stuff is going to... The way that the director of the game described it as is that the combat is mostly unchanged, but it's mostly to alleviate some of the bigger issues the community had with the Dark Souls 1.
Okay.
In terms of like glitches or bugs or things that were deemed like cheap, unfair stuff.
Was it Blight Town? Yeah, just like how it just took a FPS just took a dump. Like it was running real slow in Blight Town.
Okay. I'm sure that'll be fixed.
Yeah, and I'm curious on the Switch too, because I know they're running it at 720 and 30 on both on the docked and undocked. So we'll see how that, hopefully they can keep it at a solid 30. Yeah. I think it's 60 everywhere else on other platforms.
Haseeb, what do you think? Dark Souls 1 Remaster, are you excited?
Yeah, I think I am. I have never played a Dark Souls game. Bloodborne.
You played Bloodborne though?
I've always wanted to... No, I haven't played Bloodborne.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I've wanted to, though. I've been tempted a lot since I do have a PS4, and Bloodborne is always just there on the shelves with its, 10 out of 10s from a bunch of different outlets.
Yeah.
I've never picked it up, and so I think I might just start my journey with this one on the Switch.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. It'd be definitely a nice way to start, I'd say. Although, if you are getting the hankering, any one of the Souls games on the PS4 is a good idea.
Yeah.
Especially Dark Souls 3, because at the very least on the PS4, the Dark Souls 3 community is still super duper active in terms of PvP and cooperation and everything. So that's always a plus.
I actually never beat Dark Souls.
For sure, I'll look into it.
Okay.
Either. I don't know if you guys beat it all the way through.
The first one or just any of them?
Yeah, the first one. I never beat it.
Okay. My very first Dark Souls game was Dark Souls 3. I mean, I beat that a while ago. It's like when it came out, so that would have been 2 years ago. I occasionally play through it. It's like different characters, different builds, and just trying to mess around and whatnot. Yeah. But my latest project has been running my way through Dark Souls 1. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to Ornstein and Smog or Sma. I don't know how you say their names, but I was a bit younger when I played that game. I don't know how to spec, so or min max anything. So I get to these characters and my guy is just bad, and I'm bad, and he went bad.
It's where the boys become men.
Yeah, apparently, and I blew it hard.
Yeah. Anthony, what's your experience with the Souls games? No.
I played Demon Souls.
Okay.
Played that for like 2 hours and gave up pretty quickly. So I'll probably just I'm not really that much into the Dark Souls series.
Okay.
I played a bit of Dark Souls 1 on the PS3, I believe. And yeah, not that much of a fan. If they amp the difficulty down a little bit, then sure, maybe. But at this current stage, probably not. I'm not good enough for that.
Okay.
Beats me every time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's actually... I'm glad you said that about it being difficult, because this is actually a topic that's been brought up lately in the Souls community, or it's been brought a little bit more prominently, is that should the Soulsborne games, that describes the whole universe between Demon Souls, Dark Souls, and Bloodborne, that style of game. It's called Soulsborne, for those who don't know. Should the Soulsborne games come with difficulty options?
I don't know, it's kind of their established, voice now, right? It'd be weird to change it now, but...
Yeah, all their marketing is centered around, this game is difficult. The edition of Dark Souls on the PC is called Prepare to Die Edition. So, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great reason to pick it up.
Yeah. And so...
I mean, if they're remastering them, then they might. I reckon it might be a good idea for new people who are jumping into the series who haven't played them before. They've had their run of, Prepare to Die.
Yeah.
So why not make it a little bit easier for people who are wanting to get into it because they're remastering it, they're changing things around. I think it'd be a good idea.
Yeah. Haseeb, what do you think?
To make it accessible. Although I kind of find Dark Souls a bit difficult to get into for entirely different reasons. Instead of the gameplay and the combat and stuff, I find it more difficult to get into because of all the different systems that you have to take care of. It just looks intimidating. So if they clean that up a bit, I would.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm of two different minds for it. You brought up accessibility. I think it would definitely help the game's accessibility a little bit. And I mean, I think this was a couple podcasts ago. I brought up, it's like, I will probably defend the Call of Duty series pretty hard for what it is, just because, it's perfect. It's the perfect game for a casual person type thing, like your family man who has like an Xbox or something, who occasionally likes to play video games. Maybe he's only like 3 or 4 hours a week, if that, or something like that. So, he likes to do it on the side or something. Right. So it's like, that's one of the reasons I'll defend COD, because, COD is probably the perfect game for that sort of person, which is all fine and good. But, and then, so, I mean, adding difficulty to something like Dark Souls might benefit someone like that, the super casual type thing who, they want to experience this game. They don't have all the time in the world to, try and go against the same boss 20 times before beating him or something. So, but then my other mindset is like, it's in the end, it's not that difficult. It's really not. So is it even worth it?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it all falls down on like the audience, and if the audience really wants like that easier mode. Because then I don't see. I mean, and developers, if they want to put that out there, they've made a choice in the past that it's like, no, we're not doing that. And it's it served them well. Like they've sold a lot of copies of those games.
Right. And like the only way I can see a difficulty like working in Dark Souls would be what I would describe as mathematical difficulty. So it means like the enemies have less health and hit less hard. Yeah. And it's like I don't think whereas in Dark Souls 3 especially, a lot more of the enemies are a little bit more mechanical difficulty. So they play on like timing the rolls a bit better type thing. So
yeah, it kind of comes down to, with regard to their marketing campaign of it's Prepare to Die and all of that, and that's what they've done before, and it served them well. The way I see it is, what's really the point? If that's the case, what's really the point in them remastering it? They're trying to appeal or bring new people into the series. I mean, sure, people have already played it. The people who have already played it may play it again. Yeah. Some of them probably won't, but they're trying to appeal to the newer gamers like myself who haven't played it, and people who are coming into the new version of consoles who are like, I don't know, in their 16s and whatever. So, I mean, I think it'd be a good idea if they toned it down a little bit, but mathematical difficulty, as you said, would be a good idea, definitely.
Okay.
I think like the Souls game do such a good job of like making you feel uncomfortable and like kind of building this anxiety within you. Like that like taking that away might kind of be a bummer.
Yeah.
But...
Well, I mean, keep it there for people who want to do it, but have a bit of an easier mode.
Yeah. So this is what we're trying to say is like you would still require a lot of the skill necessary. It would just be a bit more forgiving.
Yeah.
I think it's the best way to put what we're trying to say here. Is like you could still make it kind of skill intensive, and so you still have to time your rolls and everything, but like if you get hit, it might not be the end of the world for you.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, I am kind of scared about the Switch port just because, I'm going to see someone on the bus or something like throw their Switch after dying to Ornstein the 30th time. So that's going to be
straight to the windscreen.
Yeah, it's like that'll be very... The social implications are incredible for Dark Souls 1 on the Switch, having it on a portable system. That's the way I look at it.
Prepare to Die. P.S. Please play this at home so as you don't harm people around you.
Yeah.
I wonder if like the control, like if when you have it like undocked, if that will control well. Because sometimes those menus are pretty bad.
Mm.
I think that's
that
what
was-
they're doing. Also, is they're trying to
yeah.
revamp the menu system too, because
Okay.
in DS1 it's horrible.
Yeah, it's
At
not great.
least, yeah, it's
Yeah.
tolerable in DS3, but in DS1 it's horrible.
Okay.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts on DS1 remaster, more specifically?
Nah.
Maybe
Okay.
I'll play it.
Okay, maybe you'll play it. Haseeb?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Okay.
Have you heard of a game called Neo? Let me tell you about that game.
No.
It's very good.
No, I haven't.
Oh, really? It's a
Well-
PS4 like Dark Souls game in like Japan.
Really? Okay.
Kind of, yeah,
I may have heard
fighting,
of it, but
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very good. If you like the Dark Souls game, check it out. It's a little faster paced. Like, combat's a little more complicated, so you're like doing some combos and stuff. And
okay.
Okay.
I like that one a lot. And I don't necessarily, I'm not in love with the Dark Souls stuff.
Okay. So I'll definitely check it out. I'll add that on my PS4 to get games list. It'll join Okami HD, which, yeah, which I played that on the Wii years ago. I think it was like 2010 or 2011 when it came out, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna pick up the Pro or the HD for the PS4 there. So I'll definitely add Neo. You said
Yeah,
to that
N-I-O-H.
list. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's that one. Yeah, got it.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. I'm actually surprised we did not get a Demon Souls remaster.
Yeah, because they're shutting off the servers like
Yeah.
soon. So,
And I mean,
yeah, I'm
that's kind of
surprised.
an obscure game too.
Yeah.
Because like most of the people that I've talked to, who have like whose Dark Souls 3 was like their first Souls game, or Bloodborne was their first, like Soulsborne game, or like at least either tried out Dark Souls 1 at some point, or at least have gone back to play it. And I mean, the game's not that old. It's like 2010 or 2011. It's not too old, you know. So I was really expecting Demon Souls because, you know, I'll tell the people that, you know, played Dark Souls 3 for the first time, or or have played Bloodborne or something and went over to 3 or gone to 1 or something. It's like, ever hear of Demon Souls? It's like, no, what's that? It's like, well, it's the predecessor to.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's
And
like
that's also a PS3 exclusive, so there could be some funky stuff going on there.
yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I maybe there's some licensing issues they can't get it for remastered or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just think that would be cool to see. So, one of our last topics of the day today is Metal Gear Survive. And Andrew, was that you who I believe wrote something about Metal Gear Survive for the site, or no?
No, it was not me.
Okay, another.
But I
download.
have played it a
Okay.
little bit.
Okay, well that's close enough. So why don't you?
Close enough.
Yeah, that's close enough, honestly. So I
Yeah.
mean, I almost refused to touch that game. So how about you tell me about it?
Yeah, so they had a beta going on. I don't know if it's still going on this weekend or not,
Okay.
but it's a free beta. I played very little last night, and it is weird.
Is it?
Weird.
It's
Okay,
inc-
so weird here relative. Are you talking about weird to like the normie world that we're all living in, or weird even in the scheme of the weird universe of Metal Gear?
like, yeah, it's all of it because it's just the deepest, like most complicated. It didn't give you a tutorial to like play through,
Okay.
but then there was like, I think there was like 50 tutorials, and I'm like, I can't watch all those. I don't have time for this garbage. Wow. So I just like jumped into like what they're letting you play is basically, which I didn't know what it was actually. I was sneaking around to this where I was supposed to go,
Uh-huh.
and then there's this little spot that is like digging into the ground, I guess, and you have to try and protect this like kind of AI that's digging into the ground. So you
Okay.
have to gather materials to build fences, to build barricades, and you're trying to keep these like crystalloid zombies from, getting to you and getting to this big gigantic like AI thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're finding stuff you can just, pick up everything. I was picking up pots and pans, collecting materials out of all that stuff. And then you find these workbenches to create, your stuff, your first aid, your like I said, the barricades. You got to do that at a workbench. And it was just so complicated. I was way over my head, and I was like,
Okay.
this is crazy. I will say it controls just like Metal Gear Solid 5, so that
Okay.
is a good thing. Like it controls
Yeah.
very well. It seems like they've added a lot of cool melee stuff. So there's some
Yeah.
like I had a spear that was kind of cool. So you can like build these fences, and you're poking at these zombies, through the fence with your spear.
Okay.
And I had a machete that I was kind of going. It's better crowd control. and I only had access to a handgun, so then I wasted that bullet pretty quickly. But yeah, it's a weird game, and it could be cool. I don't know. Like you're managing your thirst and your hunger a lot as well. So
Okay. Wow.
yeah, it's deep. Like, you got your hunger meter, and that kind of sets your max life. So if you only if you're 50% hungry, you can only have max 50% life.
Yeah.
Same thing with water or thirst and your stamina. So you're trying to find water, the clean water to like drink. Otherwise, drink dirty water. You can like drinking dirty water gets you like sick or something, and then you have to cure yourself. You have to either make the cure or find cures for stuff. You can have a broken leg, kind of like MGS3. Yeah, it is just
full on
crazy. I definitely suggest, if you haven't seen much on it, look up a video. I'm sure people will be into this game because it is extremely deep.
Okay.
And it could be a cool co-op thing. I don't know what the situation is there. Like, you drop in with 4 of your buddies or whatever it supports. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And kill some zombies and build some stuff. I could see that being a fun time for everyone.
Okay, so I will get back to what you said at the end there about it. It's like a lot of people could pick it up type thing, but in a little bit. But first question I want to ask you is, how does it fall into the Metal Gear universe? Like, why is there the Metal Gear tagline to it?
I think they just wanted to make this game, and like Konami was just like, hey, we have Metal Gear, let's just slap that on there.
Okay.
Because they have that Fox engine, which is fantastic.
But like the Fox engine isn't like Metal Gear exclusive. It was prominently shown off with Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain, but I mean, it's not like Konami is locked to using it for Metal Gear. So.
And they have all those assets because you're basically in the same world. From Metal Gear Solid 5, Afghanistan, I think.
Yeah.
So I just think it was an easy way to just kind of.
Is it set in a different universe or anything, or?
It's like this weird, like alternate universe where you get like Mother Base gets like sucked through a wormhole. And it's really weird. Yeah. So
are there Metal Gear characters in there? Are there Big Boss? Is there Ocelot? Is there?
Don't know.
Miller?
I want to say no, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
They could make like a appearance or something. But from what I've seen, it's like how you created your character in MGS5.
Yeah.
That's kind of like similar. How like that's the character you're going to be controlling. You kind of create a character. Go into it like that.
Okay. Haseeb.
Weird.
Yeah, Haseeb. Do you know any more about this game?
Really, I don't know a lot about this game.
Okay.
Really weird. Salty about this game. It does seem like a cheap. They're just using the Metal Gear name and brand to sell this title. It's going to be microtransaction heavy, so that's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see then. Yep.
Okay. And then, Anthony, we heard your reactions as Andrew was going on, but do you want to elaborate on those a little bit?
Well, I mean, I got rid of my Xbox One before I had a chance to finish Metal Gear Solid 5, so I'm going to get it again on PC, finish that off. Okay. So I might check it out. It sounds, as Andrew said, pretty deep. Sounds pretty full-on, sounds pretty crazy. So to me, it sounds a bit like a Devil May Cry situation.
Okay.
Kind of like full-on frantic gameplay. So it might be an interesting mix. So I'll have to check it out, definitely.
Okay. I will say the approach that I do kind of have with this game, I'll be honest, is because the ethical dilemmas surrounding this game, and for various other reasons, even without playing it, even without knowing a whole load about it, I already hate this game to the guts. I already hate the game because to me, Metal Gear isn't Metal Gear without Kojima there, and it was a really horrible thing that Konami did with their fallout with Kojima and whatnot. So that's the way I'm kind of approaching. Do you think, from what you played in the beta, that it'd be worth people overseeing all these ethical issues, let's call them? And I mean, the ethical issues extend to the loot boxes, the always-on connectivity, the always internet-on connectivity required to play the game. So do you think it's...
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Right? It just keeps getting worse and worse.
What?
It just keeps getting worse and worse. So
I'll say.
do you think it's worth looking over that sort of stuff to at least give the game a fair shot?
I mean, I think everyone should give everything a fair shot at least once. And it's it's $40. It's not a massive asking
Okay.
price.
Okay.
And they've definitely done a lot of work on this game. Like MGS5 didn't have, it was pretty deep, but it definitely was not the level of this. They definitely put a lot of work into it. A lot of these systems working together and stuff.
Really?
So yeah, I could see. I understand people's like feel scorned a bit by Konami. I mean, obviously what they did was terrible, and they're kind of garbage company now. But video games are video games. We can try it out and see if you like it or not. I mean, I will say if there's a mode where I happen to parachute into Afghanistan with 100 other players, I will play that. I'll play that mode.
I will play that mode too, especially if it was with the FOTS engine. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I will play that. Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, it's
Definitely.
very interesting.
And I think it's out soonish, right? In a couple months, I think.
Yeah.
March, I think, isn't it?
March, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So okay, it's gonna be add that to the list of weird games coming out in 2018. I'm still kind of holding reservations for Death Stranding actually coming out in 2018. Honestly, as much of a pipe dream as that might be, I think
That'd be great.
Yeah, it would be. All right, so do we have any social media questions, Anthony?
No, not this week, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
It was a bit of a quiet week this week.
Yeah. So COG underwent some redesigns and re-envisionings. Anthony, how about you tell the wonderful people at home or wherever they may be watching this what COG has shifted over to?
So basically what we did was we had a look at our stats and we saw that people aren't coming to the site to read our news. They're mainly coming to look at our reviews and features and interviews and that kind of stuff and editorials and all of that. So what we've done is we've cut our news right back. We're going to be covering a tiny bit of news with regard to E3 and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's going to be more editorial, like, someone will sit down and say, okay, this is what I think of the game, this is what I think will happen when they release it. So it's going to be a lot more opinion-based. So we've removed all our news off the site. We've gotten rid of our menu. We've redesigned it a little bit.
Yeah, the site looks great, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Well, thanks to Haseeb, it's going well.
Both of you. Yeah, both of you. Nice work.
Yeah, so it's got a longer homepage as well. So there's around 40 or 50 articles on the homepage at once now.
Wow.
So there's a lot of reading.
That's a lot of content. A lot of content.
Definitely. Yeah, and we're in the process of getting a retro podcast up and running as well.
Okay.
And my screen keeps on turning off. I don't know why. Retro podcast coming up. That'll be happening in March-ish.
Right.
Kind of late February, early March.
Okay. What sort of content can we expect from that?
From the retro podcast?
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing a quiz. So I'm not going to be part of it, but David White, which is our retro guy, he's going to be hosting it and getting a couple of other people to host it.
Right.
And we're going to be doing a retro quiz. We're going to be discussing his articles that he writes each week.
Okay.
And it's going to be a bit of a different formula to a traditional podcast.
Yeah.
It's going to be something to look forward to.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then any other cool stuff about the site that you want to talk about?
Not really. No, not off the top of my head.
Okay. One thing I will mention about the site now is that it's trying to be a lot more community oriented for us to serve you guys.
Wow.
So, we serve you guys a little bit more opinions and like our thoughts about games. And I mean, I can definitely see writers having two articles that kind of conflict with each other or something. So, we're going to aim to try to bring you guys all sorts of different opinions on all sorts of different things and give you guys as much context for stuff as possible. So, of course, you guys can form your own opinions about stuff because that's probably one of the greatest things you can do nowadays. And so, that's... And speaking of community engagement, I believe we have a community Discord server now, don't we?
Yeah, if you head on over to cultureofgaming.com, on the right-hand sidebar, at the top of the page, we've got a Discord like join here kind of thing. You just click on that, and it'll open in your Discord app if you have it downloaded. Otherwise, it'll get you to download it and create an account.
Okay.
And then you can interact with some of the staff that are on there at the moment, and a couple who are going to be joining in the future. We've got I think 3 or 4 so far, and 3 or 4 external viewers that are in there.
Yeah.
We've only had it launched since the day before yesterday, so it's going quite well at the moment.
Okay.
We're hoping to get a lot more in there, so you can just come in, chat about whatever you want to chat about with gaming, TV or movies or whatever.
Yeah.
Ask us questions. If you got suggestions for articles or whatever, just let us know and we'll be happy to do them.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, the uses of the community Discord are pretty cool because I mean, you can read an unpopular opinion article and then go onto our community Discord and debate that particular writer as to why he or she is wrong or he or she is totally right, and you agree wholeheartedly and want to marry them. So yeah.
We're all open to debate, and
So
definitely.
You know, I think there'll be a great, fun little environment type thing. It all is. All the arguments need to happen in good faith, obviously, and just don't take it personally, guys. Yeah, and so that's how culture of gaming has evolved. And like that only happened in the past week or so, hasn't it?
Over the weekend, yeah.
Yeah, over the weekend.
Friday, Saturday.
Okay. Well, it is.
It's
Saturday.
still Saturday there.
Yeah.
It's Sunday for me, so Thursday, Friday for you.
Okay. So lots of cool stuff happening on cultureofgaming.com. You guys definitely should go check it out if you haven't already and you just happen to find this podcast somewhere. And so, Haseeb, how about you tell us all the different websites on the internet we can find you? So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that fun stuff.
I'm actually not so good with social media. I just have my Facebook, and you can find me. That's my name.
Can you repeat your name one more time, please? On Facebook?
ABID, my last name, yeah.
Okay.
Like I do have a Twitter, I don't really use it. I do have an Instagram, I don't really use it. I don't even know my names and stuff.
Okay.
Sounds a bit like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. A New Year's resolution to be a bit better.
Okay.
Maybe next time. Next time I'll have maybe a Twitter or something for you guys.
All right. Awesome. Andrew, how about you? Where can we find you?
You guys can find me on all the social media goodies at Duronski, DURONSKI. Tweet at me, whatever you want to say, just be nice.
Yeah, and as per usual, links to everything will be in the description on the uploaded video. And so, Anthony, outside of cultureofgaming.com, where can we find you?
Nowhere really. I'm not really on as like Haseeb. I'm not anywhere. I'm not on Twitter. I'm on Facebook, but I barely post to it.
Okay.
I'm mainly managing all of the social media for the site and all that, so that takes up all my social media time.
And where can we find COG on social media? How about that?
So for Facebook, it's facebook.com/cog.net. For Twitter, it's Twitter, so it's twitter.com/cog.net as well.
Okay.
Twitch, it's the same, twitch.com/cog.net.
It's actually Culture of Gaming on Twitch.
It's Culture of Gaming, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just looking at that and it didn't show me that. Oh,
okay.
Well, cultureofgaming.com, there you go. So we're on everywhere. We're looking at getting our Snapchat up and running as well, doing a couple of videos on there.
Okay.
And our Instagram, where our social media team's working on them as well and getting them a lot more active. And while I'm on the subject, we're going to be running a 2-weekly or bi-weekly giveaway for the podcast. Okay. So basically what you guys will be doing is just commenting. We'll put out a post, comment for our episode. You comment on that and give us a like and whatever else you want to do. But what we'll be doing is we'll be doing a random number between those comments, and we'll be picking out the comment that we believe is, or what is the random one that we believe is the best, and we'll be using that as our giveaway. That was a great description, I know. But
yeah. Oh no, I think we got the gist of it. I have no idea what's happening with that. Yeah, I have no idea what's happening. Yeah. But whatever. Okay.
Anyway, we'll be updating our.
Yeah, just let me know if I need to get like a Steam key for a game or something next week, and then I'll get one to give away. Yeah. So
we'll be updating our Facebook and all of that on that. So just keep your eye on our Facebooks and our forums, and you'll be right.
Okay. So in terms of me, you can, if you're interested in reading very short but concise Eve rants, check me out on Twitter. You know, Eve Online, the video game, the MMO, at Inferus Taylor. Again, link will be in the description. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on Snapchat. I'm not willing to give you guys my Reddit username. And yeah, you can find me on my Twitch channel, though. I don't know if I'll ever stream anything on there ever again, but if I do, it'll be at Infurious7809. And you can find me on Culture of Gaming doing various things on the YouTube channel and the website. Culture of Gaming's YouTube channel is youtube.com/Culture of Gaming. We already said the Twitch and the Facebook and everything, so I think that about covers that. So I have been your host, Taylor, and I was joined by Andrew, Anthony, and Haseeb this week for the Power Up Podcast, Episode 3. Tune in next week, same time, same place, and we will see you all next week.
Have a good week. Enjoy.